It's an uncomfortable subject that stems from child protection. I mean, when you get into juvenile justice, almost all those kids had rotten childhoods, had toxic homes, they've got behavioral problems, and it takes a professionalism to help them find themselves. There's actually a whole bunch of stuff I love to talk about when we get to this topic, because the centering of yoga, there's just entrepreneurial programs, Minnesota Free Art, that is national
There's
programs.
There's so many programs that help them thrive, right, and be better people and learn to be members of the community that makes everybody feel better, and it's cheaper.
Right. But again, the public itself, until there's more reporting, and thank goodness for Brandon Stahl, the Star Tribune, and the writing that they have been doing, and nationally now there's a few more, but when Brandon started 2-3 years ago on the death of Eric Dean after 15 reports of child abuse that were ignored, he had his face chewed off and he had his arm broken, and it was just awful. 15 reports of child abuse were ignored. At that time, 4 Minnesota counties screened out 90% of the calls that came in on child abuse. Mm-hmm. And really, I mean, it was just terrible. But now, Brandon Stahl has really started to write about this stuff, and I can't give him enough kudos, because he's good. He's a great investigative journalist. And there's a few others in the nation that are starting to do this. San Jose Mercury News has done a lot of work around the drugging of foster children. About a third of the kids in foster homes are really drugged on Prozac and stuff like that. So as the public gains a little bit of knowledge, and I appreciate your show on the concept that as we get the word out to a few more people and they start to understand that this is not just a problem, it is the problem. It's why the prisons are full. It's why the schools don't work. And it's why it's not safe to go to a movie downtown on a Friday night.
Well, I think
in a lot of cities.
You know, when I was doing research on mass incarceration, another thing that they do is they plea them, and I don't know, she calls them plea them and book them or something.
Oh yeah.
97% of the cases, well, what they weed out about 8%, which is just errors. But of the 100% that's left, only 3% actually go to court. 90% are just plead and booked. And so that's turned into McDonald's drive-through as well. And it's I don't know. I don't like McDonald's drive-throughs. I actually think it's part of our culture from the standpoint, if you want to do anything in our culture, a lot of things are turned into a McDonald's. If you want to hire a lawyer, they kind of turn it into a McDonald's drive-through situation. If you want everything, because we're trying to be so efficient, so effective. We got these processes and structures in place, which are great for so many things, but there's so many things that need a more conscious, detailed look of professionals looking at it. We can't automate and streamline everything in society to a point where it's a McDonald's drive-through and we don't look at the real problems.
It pains me to think how long it's going to take to fix the thing you speak of, because the argument is still incarceration, punishment. We don't seem to care to fix things, make people better. We're not really invested in that. We're not going that direction. Maybe we are, but it's 5 miles an hour.
Because we look soft. Years. We look soft and we're not tough and we're not going to take care of our issues. Well, we're not taking care. We're making our issues worse. And I think it's not about being soft. It's about being smart. We're not talking soft. I'm a pretty tough cookie, but it's about being smart.
Well, it saddens me. I mean, we've ruined a lot of lives for a lot of years that didn't need ruining. And actually, I remember a woman, friend of mine was involved in a deal where she got blamed under the kingpin laws, and her boyfriend went to prison. He was going to get 50 years, but he got it knocked down to about 20 when he ratted out on a lot of people, including her. And again, she lived with him. She never got any money out of that. And she lost her family, lost her children.
And she was a good mom. I mean, to a relative standpoint, she was, even though she was surrounded by a guy like that.
She was a decent person. She had a college education. She was a decent, law-abiding human being. Yes. And because she got tied into this nightmare, and I don't know how much she knew about what he was doing. Maybe she did, maybe she didn't. But 6 years, I think she served of a 12-year sentence. And what happened was a lawyer that was traveling to his new job in Denver, read the newspaper about her, it was a little article, and he met her and he got her out of prison because Bill Clinton signed a pardon for her. But she was one of thousands of women that didn't get that. And I look at what I've seen in child protection. I'll tell you a story. I had a woman in Minnesota who had a 2-year-old and a 13 to 12-year-old girl that were molested by her boyfriend, who then ran away to another far western state.
She did.
And
she ran away with her kids?
He ran away so that he could avoid prosecution because there were semen samples at the site and he was going to prison. But he ran away to another state, and then he requested custody of the girls. She had to get in her 15-year-old truck, drive with the 12-year-old to go to court in that state.
Did he get custody?
That's child protection in America.
What happened? Did she get to prove her point that the guy's a loser?
But the trauma for the 12-year-old, the trauma for her, and the nightmare.
That's awful.
That man never spent a day in jail. It's that. It's all over. You said it's about money. It's about money. You get yourself a decent lawyer, you can shoot somebody. We all know that. Prosecutors, state defenders have 500 cases in child protection, maybe more. You know, and it's just a circus. There's no, you know, it saddens me. Poor people, and really, if it wasn't so racially unbalanced, you know, it'd be different. But it's racially very, very unbalanced. And I understand why a lot of African American communities really hate child protection because it's a one-way street.
Yeah, that's awful. You don't want to get anywhere near that. So your organization, CARA, Kids at Risk Action Board, educates and works to reform abused and neglected children. Can you go, we have just a few more minutes here. Can you talk about what you do and then how people can learn more about you?
Thank you. Yes. We advocate for children's issues. We support the people, programs, and policies that make life better for abused and neglected children. InvisibleChildren.org is the website. We are actually a national reporter under Real Stories. You'll see nationally report every month on child protection issues in the nation. We actually have a new page for international child protection. We need volunteers internationally to record for us, and so I'm always reaching out to that community. The book is online. It's an audio book. You can listen to it for free. Support of any kind for our reporting and speaking, and we love to show up and speak at public places. This is an issue that needs to get out more. We believe that once the general population has a little bit better handle on it, they will call their senators. And millennials got to learn this. Until we actually work to make government better, it's not going to get any better. There is always going to be government. And until the government understands the issues, and the only way it will is listening to the people that call it. And we don't call about child protection issues. There's no voice for children in this year's presidential race. There's no voice for children's issues in Senate races. There just isn't. So at the state rep level, if we can get some of those people to understand this, it will go a long, long way. So InvisibleChildren.org, and really belonging and volunteering at the Passive Guardian ad litem, safe passages for children, prevent child abuse. There's a number of wonderful organizations you can actively get involved in, but supporting people that are being a voice, getting the word out, spreading these, your radio show to people so they understand the depth and scope of this problem. It's a hugely important issue.
It's probably one of the most important issues we have. I mean, children, just solving a foundational problem, something that is, a source issue is always really important. I mean, you just can't ignore it.
Pliny the Elder 2,000 years ago said that what we do to our children, they will do to society. It's never been more true.
Well, thank you so much, Mike, for joining us today, and I really appreciate you sharing all your knowledge.
Thank you, Sarah. I enjoyed being here.
Well, that is our show for today. I hope it was clear from what he was trying to get across that mental health is the biggest issue that we are dealing with here. I mean, there's a lot of issues that we're dealing with here, but the mental health component of this problem is really the key, and making sure that we take care of our kids when they're young before it becomes a lifetime investment that society needs to make in somebody. If we invest in them when they're little and we deal with the mental health issues when they're little, they won't be a huge, huge cost to our society year after year after year. And that's the key. I mean, if we care about taxes and we care about the cost of society, it's not just about money, obviously, but if you care about money and you care about your own taxes, you should care about this. The reason I bring up money is because I don't know anyone that doesn't care about that factor. A lot of people might just care about themselves, or they really are passionate about the children's issue. But whatever spectrum you're on, everybody cares about the cost. And the cost is absolutely huge year after year after year if we don't take care of the problem when they're little. And I think that's the message for today. So I hope everyone has a wonderful day.
You've been listening to Business Game Changers with host Sarah Westall. Tune in each Monday at noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, as Sarah brings you leading experts, visionaries, and newsmakers who provide the best commentary on big issues and cutting-edge innovations. Sarah's 20 years as a business executive will help you think like an entrepreneur with expertise, energy, and attitude. Tune in Mondays at 12 noon Pacific Time and learn more about Sarah at sarahwestall.com today.